Hello again, it's Noob, and here we have a Yale Bicentric I've picked and gutted in a previous video. You might have seen on my main channel, Noob. You're watching currently Noob's side channel, Side Noob. And, well, I thought to do a video on reassembling this purely because it's a relatively complex lock. What do we need to reassemble it? Not much. We need a pair of tweezers, but we also need a right follower for this, and preferably one which is hollow. Why? Because some of the tail pieces are very long on this, and having a follower like this which can, you know, get around that long tail piece is really useful. Another thing which is really useful putting this back together is having a shim. Why? Well, pull this a bit closer for you, you'll see that even with a follower which is very similar, there's a small step down from the core to this follower, and when you're pushing this through and the driver pins are at the top, they drop down onto it. When they're going the other way, when you're putting the core back in, they hit this step, a small step of about 1mm, and stop it from entering the body of the lock. So a shim helps bridge that gap. So that's two things you need. A follower which is about the right size. I've used for this some cut down selfie sticks, but you could probably find some pens. Just chop open some pens of different thicknesses. Find one which fits as close as you can to the size of the core. So these were selfie sticks. I made a set of concentric followers. This, by the way, is, you know, it's a good half a day's job, but worth doing. Maybe a bit less actually. Anyway, so I have left the springs in the bottom side, and you'll notice that the Bible on the top side here is empty of springs. Basically, one of them has to come out because you have to turn it one way up. So yeah, it's a bit of a pain, but there you go. So what I'm going to do is just repopulate the bottom chamber, which is the one with the long tail core. If you saw my gutting of the lock, you also notice something weird about the key pins in here. But since I don't have a actual key for this, for now they're just going to go back in as per normal. And when I get some blank keys, or even some keys which are pre-cut, I have a pinning kit which will allow me to find the right pins for this. I'm not even sure this was even an original pin. I think somebody just made this out of a bit of oh no, I've rolled it. Hopefully those springs will have stayed in there. It's even hard to get that pin in. Oh no, that's why. This is the tops. This is the top set. See, good job I remembered. Let's try that again. So this is the bottom set of pins. So in this one, pins 1 and 2 look about normal, but then this one looks to me like a driver pin, but in it goes until I get some keys. Keep it like this. So I think it's been refurbished, or whatever locksmith set this up maybe did a bad job. I'm not entirely sure of its history. So that's 6 key pins in there. Right, now we need to populate the Bible chambers, and to do that we will grab our follower, making sure that the sharp end, the flat end, goes in like this, and hopefully we can reach down on in there and put in one of these standard drivers. So you can see from the other end, if I go in through here, you'll see what I'm trying to do is just pop this driver pin, if I grab it properly, come here you, down the front of the lock and into its correct chamber, which is there, and that will just sort of sit in on top of the spring. You see it's springy. What we need to do is push this against it gently and sort of trap the pin against it, and then just push it down with the tips of the tweezers, and then we move the follower up until we get to the next pin chamber, and we just keep repeating that motion. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, chamber 5 now. reaching right to the back in these cores is a real pain, but you can do it if you're just patient. And we got it there, so it's 2. Push, push, push. See if I'll move the light in a little bit more so you can see maybe down inside. Hopefully that'll help a little bit. 3. Oop. There we go. Push it down. Three. Oh, too far, too far, too far. 2. And 1. This one doesn't want to go in. Oh, and I've just flung a spring over here. Right. Let's everybody behave now. Where's that pin? I don't know why this pin, maybe it's I moved the follower too far. Yeah, that's it. Too far forward. There we go. Good. Now you'll see that because this is an odd size, there's a lot of slop here. But when the core is in, it's actually really, really tight and won't take a shim. So it's you end up sort of damaging the shim a little bit, but I'd say it's worth the damage just so you get it in right. This has a small notch because that's where these concentric followers align with each other, and I do that with the bottom of the lock like that. Can you see? So if you do have those, and then just gently push that in like this, and make sure that shim is as far through as we can get, and then do that. Oh, I told you that I'd end up breaking this shim. Let's give it a go. Basically what I need to do is have it such that I can grab it from the other side. So this is now completely bent up, but it doesn't mean you can't use them. It's just that it's very, very tight when it gets to the other end. I need it sort of come through. There we go, got it. As long as it's through, it should be okay. Right, let's try that again. It just gets very tight, and really what I want to do is sort of pull the shim at the same time, like this, out, because it sort of gets trapped at this point against the body and the core. It's really tight, but you can just about pull it out. Like I said, it sort of wrecks the shim, but they are something you can sacrifice if you have to. It's better than the alternative of you not getting this back on. And then what I'll do is I'll lock this in place by turning this so that the pins all lock in, so the drive pins drop down under spring tension. Right, that's the first side. So yeah, let's get that second core and do the same thing. So I just notice how beaten up this is and how flat this is. This is why this side was a lot easier to pick. It's I think been, again, I think maybe a locksmith has done this. Maybe a bad job to refurbish this to fit to the key that they had. And one trick is you put the key in, and if the pins aren't quite right, you just file off the top of the pins and everything else all in one go. It's a real botch job, though. I have seen it happen. Luckily, the vast majority of locksmiths don't do that. But I can even see down there, it looks like get this to focus for you, file marks on the tops of the pins, which is a telltale sign. So yeah, the more I inspect this lock, the more I think that it's been refurbed badly, but still, what a shame for such a nice lock. Anyway, and again, these springs here are a combination of brass and steel. And again, I'm not entirely convinced that that's on purpose by Yale. I think that something else is going on in there. Right, so anyway, let's pop these springs in. I'll go alternately brass and steel, brass, steel, brass, steel, because I can. There we go. And again, you know, with the first pin, it doesn't really matter. You can just pop, if it will fit in, you can do it from either side, but I'll do it properly from, if there is such a way, from this side. As long as I can see in there, just enough to be able to get that last pin in. Okay, got it in position at least. Get the follow in. I think we're good to go. Yeah, we are good. So that's one down. I wasn't happy with that, and I pulled it out, and it's just jumped out. The lesson there is try not to progress if you're not sure about whether you got your pin in the right chamber, especially if you don't have the key and it's hard to shim. I want to make sure that is 100% right. You get the first pin in the back and the rest comes along a lot easier. So we need to bounce it off the top of the spring there. That didn't work, so I'm just going to go in as I probably should have done. Stop messing around. Maybe, can I get more light down in there? Be a bit easier for me if I can. That's why I stick these things on my side channel, because it's just so messy putting together locks like this. I'm really struggling to actually get that in the chamber. If I had a really nice follow which wasn't curved on both ends, I would probably, which is exactly the right size, I would start in the middle and work backwards, by which I mean I got it. There's a technique by which you can sort of reverse the follower in. There we go, got it. There we go, I think we're okay there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, good. Now I've got the first one in, this should be a whole lot faster. There we go. Right. And again, take this now slightly broken but still serviceable shim. Pop that in the top. Sorry, the pin where the pins are. Like that. Try and get it out the other side, which is the tricky bit. Just there isn't much room. It seems to get like tighter towards the back. Well, there's a lip or something there. Okay, there, good, got it. Around where the pins are now. I don't know why it doesn't want to push all the way through this shim. It's really strange. Got it, got it, got it. Okay, good to go. Take this. Very, very malformed core. Definitely been filed down. Such a shame. And then we will, where are the pin chambers? Just make sure. Yeah, good. So there we go. And then make sure we can pull out the shim and then turn that back the other way. Good. That's very floppy compared to this one. Okay. Now need to put on this little sprocket with the small screws. Without putting the screw in the wrong place. Come here, you. Just thinking in the back of my mind how I could so easily edit this to look like I'd made no mistakes at all. But I don't think that'd be very authentic. And also the whole point about showing these videos is how frustrating it can be to put these locks back together and how to just do it calmly and problem solve as you go, because that's really one of the key skills you need. Not just know what you're doing, but not get frustrated when it doesn't work straight away. Then this goes on any which way around, really. I'm going to point it like that. That'll do. Perfect. So make sure that screws down moderately tight. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Pop this on over the top of this one. And it only goes on one position because it's got a cutout here. I'll show you. So it goes on that way around, like that. Then you pop this little plate on, align it with the screw holes, and then pop these on and we're done. Shame, like I said, I don't have a working key for it, otherwise I would be able to quickly show it working. Be really nice to get some proper keys to this and give it a good refurb. Maybe even, you know, can't do much about the cores, but I can certainly put the right key, some nice key pins in there. There we go, all done. Well, there you go. That was a you know, relatively long process. Every lock that you pick on the channel, the hole has to go back and back nicely and properly. It can be a bit of a pain, can be frustrating, but you know, that's part of lock sport, and sometimes it can be an enjoyable part too. Hope you enjoyed watching that video. If you do like this kind of content, want to see more of it, please consider subscribing. If you like the video, leave a like. If you want to comment about any part of this video, then do leave a comment below. I do read all the comments and I reply to as many as I can. And I'll see you all next time.